Hello, friends, and welcome to my reflection today. My kitchen table reflection. That sounds nice, kitchen table reflection. Anyway, today is the fifth Sunday of Lent, and the gospel reading is from the Gospel of John. It's about the story of a man called Lazarus. We all know this story, it's an incredible story. This man, Lazarus, was raised from the dead by Jesus. So I want to talk to you on the waiting period. Because if you're like me, it's hard moving from a place where you have control to a place where you've lost control. Sounds like the world we are living in now, with this issue of coronavirus, ravaging the whole place, and people are uncomfortable and being forced into lockdowns, and they have to stay at home and do things that they didn't plan doing. Somebody said, "Oh, this is not my 2020 vision." I think that's the story of us all. None of us have predicted. None of us would have predicted that that this year is going to be like this. We've had our plans smashed down. Everything has been shattered. Some of us, in 2019, we've set up plans on how this year is going to be, because we kind of have control of our life and where things are headed to. And now it feels like we've lost control of everything. We don't know what is happening. But probably through reflecting on this story of this man called Lazarus, you probably get to have some hope in the face of adversity. Because Lazarus and Jesus, they are good mates. In fact, the name Lazarus means the one who God helps. Fascinating, very symbolic name. And the story goes that, Jesus got this message from the sisters of Lazarus, Mary and Martha, because they are good minds. Jesus would go to their place and dine and eat. But now Lazarus wasn't well. He's getting really sick, and it was so severe that the sisters had to send words to Jesus and say, "Hey, would you mind coming over to see your friend Lazarus?" But then they added these words, "the one whom you love so much." Because when we believe that people love us so much, it means they're gonna give us some kind of preference. They're gonna be there for us. They're gonna have our back. They're gonna make sure things don't hurt us. And I think that's the understanding of Martha and Mary when they sent the words to Jesus, when they added those words, "the one whom you love so much," which means they know that Jesus is pretty busy. But they're like, "Well, we know that you're busy, but if you could just leave all those things behind and come and see the one that you love, because he desperately needs you right now." But guess what? When Jesus received the word, Jesus didn't go to Bethany to go and see Lazarus, who was apparently dying. The Bible said that he stayed behind, which for me doesn't make sense. I mean, if he loves Lazarus so much and he's dying, he's meant to rush. That's what we do as human beings. I mean, when we get a news that somebody that we love so much is dying, we're gonna leave everything behind and just rush to see how they're doing and to make sure they're okay. Imagine if your wife is dying, you're at work and you get the news that you're gonna leave work and everything and come and see what has happened to your wife. And that's the image I'm trying to paint here, because Jesus didn't go and he stayed behind. And and the Bible says that he stayed behind because he loved Lazarus. I don't know what he's trying to achieve, but that's the thing. And imagine what it would have felt for Mary and Martha when the messenger came back and Jesus didn't come back with them. And they had to stay in this waiting period, waiting. Is he gonna show up? I thought that he loved us. I mean, he came to our house for dinner, have all those meals that we wonderfully cooked, and he said it was delicious. And now that we needed help from him, now that we need his presence, he is far away. He's not coming, which means we are not that special to him, which means he doesn't really love us. Isn't that what many of us are saying at this time? If God, I've had somebody come to me and say, if God truly love us, why would God let coronavirus kill so many people? That is a very naive way of seeing things. Because what happened in this story is that Jesus was going to show them that he is the resurrection and the life. He's going to show them another dimension of him that they have never witnessed before. And so he sets out to Bethany. And when he got there, Jesus saw the people who have gathered together crying for the death of Lazarus. And the sadness in people's hearts hit Jesus so much that the Bible says that Jesus wept. The Son of God cried for his friend Lazarus. You see, I don't believe in a God who is distant from our reality. I don't believe in a God who is far away, who is somewhere, behind the curtain, pulling the strings, manipulating us into doing things that we don't want to do. I don't believe in such a God. That is a paganistic God, and I don't believe in that. I believe in a God who is present within us, a God who is actively involved in our life, who is feeling what we are feeling, who is aching how we are aching, who is suffering how we are suffering. A God who is crying with us when we are crying. A God who is in this mess with us as we are in this mess of the coronavirus. But a God who never stops working within us, working through us, and also restoring us at the same time. Jesus Christ tells us that God cries with us. And I believe whatever this thing is, this coronavirus, this pandemic, whatever it is, I believe it is unraveling something in our world. Because right now we feel like Lazarus, who is in the tomb, dead for 4 days. And in the tomb is full of darkness, eh? You don't see things. You feel hopeless. Every place is dark and you feel so uncertain. And this time we feel like we're in the tomb. It's like a dead thing happening to every one of us. We are scared. We are really worried. We can't even stop thinking how things are going to get worse. Yeah. But you know what? You know what? It is in the midst of this very thing that we can see a power of God that we have never witnessed before in our own life. But not just that, in the entire world. See what is happening in our world today. People are connecting like more than before. People are reaching out, calling friends that they've not spoken to for a long time. I've seen lots of, workout videos on social media trying to help people to do stuff within their own space, things that they think that they wouldn't have done before. We are reaching out. There's this sense of communal consciousness, this waking up that is happening to us right now. People are beginning to notice their neighbor. People are beginning to say hello from over the fence and to ask, how are you doing? But before, we just wake up and have our breakfast and just, go to work and chat with people that we work with and come back and stay with our family or go to the pub or do some other thing else and probably, sleep or watch some movies before going to sleep and then wake up and do that again. It feels like there's that we are living this kind of, clockwise rhythm of life, like a machine. And sometimes we need to stop, to step out, and to see things in a whole new way. Because Lazarus got to see things in a whole new way. He was dead for 4 days. But when Jesus came there, he said to them, show me where you have laid him. And they were like, wow, well, he's smelling by now because it's been 4 days. Because we don't want to show the messy part of our life. And they were like, we don't want you to see this kind of Lazarus. He's messy, he's gross, he's smelly, and he's been in the tomb. You don't want that. We want the neat, glossy part of our life to be shown, not, the part that we're not proud of. So Jesus said, I want to see him. And when they opened the tomb, Lazarus was wrapped with a white linen. But then Jesus said these words, Lazarus, come out. Lazarus, come out. And the man who was dead for 4 days started walking out of the tomb. And the white linen was unwrapped. And he was alive again. You see, friends, it's always hard to see what God is doing when we are in the thing that is happening, in the situation. But trust me, when you come out of this situation, when you look back, you will realize that God has been with you every step of the way. And you will begin to see things in a whole new way. Lazarus get to see and experience something new. Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus, get to experience the power like never before. The power of Jesus, the power of God who is able to raise a dead thing to life. And I believe God is working in our life at this time. And he's working his wonders, and we may not see it right now. But trust me, when this is over, you will look back and say, I'm glad I went through that experience, because something was dead in me, and now I have been raised to life to see things in a whole new way. Things are no longer black and white for me. Things have now got different hues of colors, and I'm beginning to entertain a beautiful tomorrow because I believe something has happened in me, and I want to live like that. And that's my prayer for you, friends, that at this time of uncertainty, this time that it feels like we are in the waiting period, let us realize that something is being done in us, done through us. Something is being done within us in the midst of this darkness, so that every dead thing in us will be raised to life. And may God bless you. Amen.